All right, in this video I'll demonstrate how to recreate a drag and drop sort of word sort like what you see on the screen here. This is not mine originally. I believe this came from Miss Calloway at Bryant, and I'm going to try to recreate it. It won't be identical. All right, so first things first here, identify the pieces that we're looking at. Before I kind of do anything to a slide, it's a good idea. I'm going to press Command D. That'll duplicate it. So now I've got, if I screw something up, I can always go back to my original here in slide 1. So in slide 2, I'm clicking around, and note the first thing I notice is that like none of this stuff is moving. And that is a giveaway sign that what I'm looking at is an image, right? This is a background image. This is part of the slide itself, and it can't be, as much as I click and try to move things around, it can't be moved around. And that's a great thing to do when you're working with drag and drop type of activities with students, because you don't want them being able to like click little text boxes and move things around, and it just kind of creates a little bit of a chaotic situation. So that's the first thing I'm noticing, is she's got a background image here as the slide itself, right? And then moving on, we've got some other pieces. These pieces all surrounded in red, and these can be moved around if you notice. These are the drag and drop pieces. So these are the pieces that we want the students to be able to move into the respective columns here, right? So we'll create those. And what these are is these are individual images. These are just screenshots of these words, right? And they're image files that were then inserted into this slide, right? So this is a better strategy to use than to use text boxes, and I'll just quickly demonstrate why. So if you use text boxes, right, and I go here and I draw a text box, and let's say I use the word need, right? You could do the same thing. I can give it a red outline, just like we have above it, right? And now I've got the text box, and the difference is that when I try to click on this box to drag it, it thinks that I want to write in the text box. So it's like, it's giving me a cursor and saying like, okay, start typing. It's not giving me that option to move it unless I hover near the corners. Then see, I get that icon that says, okay, you can move this. So it's like, it's technically possible to use it with the text box, but where are your kids going to click when they want to move it? They're just going to click at some random spot in it, and they're going to start doing this, and they'll move it, and they'll say, I can move it sometimes, but then sometimes I can't, and then look at it. It becomes chaos. So for that reason, it was a very smart idea to not use text boxes, but to instead use image files, because notice that no matter where I click on the image, because it's an image, not a text box, right? It's not thinking that I want to start typing. It's just letting me drag it wherever I want. So much better option for drag and drop activities to use image files. The last piece down here is this is just a video that was inserted from YouTube and then shrunk down into the corner there, so we can recreate these different components. So the first thing I'm going to do then is I'll create a new slide. To do that, I'll click the little the plus sign there, or the arrow right next to it, and I'm going to just choose a blank one, because I'm going to recreate that background image that we have here, and I'm just going to create that from scratch. So I might need to jump back and forth a few times to try to replicate it best I can. So, all right, what we had there at the top was a text box. And it says Monday spelling word sort. So Monday. It looks like Monday is bold. All right. It may not be identical, but we'll get a similar thing going on here. We've got a border around it. So let's see, she's got the border. Let's make the border, it's black, we'll make that 2, something like that. I think hers is bigger. All right, next we've got directions over here. So that's just another text box to the right. So I'm going to use another text box, put that here. That one had a background color to it, if you notice. So that's a fill color. Looked like it was just a light yellow. And that said directions. Move the spelling words. something. Okay. Maybe I'll up that a little bit. And she's got a border on that as well. And then looks like we've got the identification of what kind of sound we're looking at in this particular sort. So it says long E, so that's another text box. Let's put that there. That also had a fill color, looks like a light yellow. Long E, looks like that was bold. And a bit bigger. Right about there, and there's no border on that one. Okay, and then the next piece is, this is a table, it looks like. So we've got 2 rows, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. So we're gonna insert then a table, 2 rows, 6 columns. So we've got 6 columns there, 2 rows. All right, I'm just gonna stretch that out a little bit. Okay, and it looks like we don't need as much space, so I'm going to shrink up this top row because that's just going to have the sound, and then underneath here we'll have some room for the drag and drop pieces to be put. And then if I hover over the corner there, like I've got some space up here, I can move this entire table up a bit. There we go. Now I can give myself a little bit more room down here for the drag and drop pieces. Alrighty. And then I'm going to create this with some different sounds that I was given. So I'm going to not use the same sounds there. Instead, I'm going to use, which reminds me, I should change that because I'm going to do a long U instead of a long E. And so I'm going to do I am just copying something that I was provided. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this one appears to only have 4 different sounds versus 6 of the other one. So I'm going to go ahead actually and just delete these 2 columns. So I just highlighted them, and I'm going to delete both of those columns because it looks like this one only has 4, and I was sent these sounds. So this one's going to look slightly different because I'm making an activity, the same type of activity, just with different sounds versus the sample above. Okay, so we've got our table with the 4 different sounds. We're doing a long U. I'll straighten out a couple other things. First, on the table here, I'm going to make that border darker and wider strokes. So I'll choose 4 there. Make that font bigger for these titles, these headers. So we'll up that something like that. I'm going to choose a line center, and then I'm going to also vertically align it in the middle. Okay. And then looks like lastly we've got the that light blue background color. So I'm going to click over here in the corner, make sure nothing else is selected, right? And then I'll see background appear as an option, and I'm going to choose color. And I've got that that bluish color here. But if you choose just that one, it's a little bit dark, as you can see, compared to our sample. So if I go up here and I choose custom, click the little plus sign there, and if I drag that to the left, that's going to lighten it up a bit. There we go. So that's a bit closer to the sample. So the other components that we're missing are, we still have the words that we'll cover in a few minutes, and then we have this video in the corner here, which again we'll add towards the end. But the next step at this point is we kind of have our background template already created. So what we need now is a screenshot image of this, because we're going to attach this, remember, as not a live background. Right, like you can see I can click on this stuff and like edit the text. We don't want that when we give this to kids. You want just a static image that, see, I can't do anything here, right? Because it's a background, it's one background image versus all these individual components that are currently on ours. So to get that screenshot of this image, we're going to I'm going to use an extension called Awesome Screenshot. It's just a Chrome extension. if you go to the Chrome Web Store and add awesome screenshot, it's this first one here, and mine is already installed, but if you don't have it, it would say like install or add to Chrome. And that's going to install, it's this extension right up there, kind of looks similar to an Instagram icon, it's a little camera. And that's just, it's going to take screenshots, right? So we're going to take a screenshot of our background here. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use, choose capture, selected area. And that's going to allow me to choose just the area that I want a picture of. And then I see I get the little cross here. As soon as I click, I'm going to click and hold it down and then drag across the entire slide. All right, so this is what I want to take a screenshot of. Save. I'm not going to add any annotations here, but you could add annotations. I'll just click done. And for me, I'm just going to download this. And we'll say BG slide, background slide, okay? There it is down there, so I'm done with that. So now I'm going to add a new slide. And again, I'm going to make this one blank. And now on my blank slide, I'm going to use background. And this time, instead of choosing a color, changing a color, I'm going to choose an image. I'm going to upload the BG slide screenshot that I just took. And there we go. Now we've got our background there on the slide. And now look at this one. See, I can't move any of this stuff around. So as a student, this is what you would present. This is the one you would present to your students because they can't edit or change or move any of this stuff around compared to this original one where all this stuff is clickable and editable. That you don't want. So, all right, I'm going to continue working now in this bottom one here, slide number 4, because that's where we're going to add the video on top of, and that's where we're going to add all of those spelling words to. So similar to how we created this background, that's also how we're going to add those spelling words. Those are also individual images that are just screenshots. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over to Google, and I've got a list of spelling words. And so I'm just going to type the word define, and then I'm going to use the spelling words that I have. So the first word is cute. So I'm going to put define cute. And the reason I chose define is it'll open up the Google Dictionary here automatically, and then I can just screenshot that nice text right there. So I'm going to, again, just go back up to awesome screenshot, selected area, right? I'm under capture, selected area, and I'm just going to choose cute, save, done, download. I'll call that word 1. X that out. This is a little tedious, but the next word is cube. Once you get in a flow, capture, selected area, cube, save, done, download. Word 2. Exit out. Fumes. Capture, selected area, click and drag, save, done, download. So there's one thing is I'm typing in Q's, but it keeps bringing up Q. So I mean, you could either leave it as being satisfied with Q, or you can see if you can find the actual word here. They all seem to be taking off the S at the end. So in the interest of time, if you keep looking, you'll find the word Q's somewhere online. But in the interest of time, I'm just going to go ahead and hope that Q is acceptable. Music. I'm not sure how I feel about that syllable separator that being there. So Merriam-Webster looks like another good place because those have nice text that you can take. It's going to look, this one's going to look, so I would probably choose one and stick with it because now I'm going to have music here with a different looking font. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing it this way, but it'll still work. Maybe I'll do a couple, another one in Merriam-Webster. So maybe you can just go straight to Merriam-Webster and do all your words straight from there. That would be another way. Yeah. All right, so that's all 9 words, I believe. Yep, I think so. So now I've got all the word choices. I'm going to go to Insert, Image, and then I'm going to upload from computer because I downloaded all of mine. But if you're on a Chromebook, they probably went automatically to your drive, so you can just insert them from your Google Drive as well. I'm going to upload from computer. I've got them under Documents, and here they are, words 1 through 9. So I'm going to select all of those. Open, and there they are. Right, you can see those last 2 are a little bit different looking because we chose the ones from Merriam-Webster, so they have a different font. You'll also notice that I noticed that I just put one in here that has the syllable separator, so maybe I'll switch that one out. But in any event, all we need to do to those is first, it looks like in the sample that we referred to, they all have a border on them. So I'm going to select all of them, and I just hold down the Shift button, by the way, to do that. I click on one. Now I'm holding down the Shift button, and I'm just going to keep clicking, and so I can select multiple. So you can see now I've selected all the boxes. I'm going to go up here to border color, and they have that red border color, and then I can make that a little bit thicker if I want, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to click on each individual one and just shrink it down to the size that I want. Can actually select multiple at the same time and do multiple. Did the same thing, click on one, click Shift, shrink it, and it'll do both at the same time. So you could do that with all the words. I'm really doing this the long way here. Let's click all of them, shrink them all down a bit. All right. And then you can just drag them down to the bottom, say. All right, and the word fuel, I just feel like that'll create some confusion for kids having that dot in there. So why don't I just go ahead and quickly, while I'm here, just grab one of these. Insert image. 10, shrink it down. All right, there we go. And so now when the students were to look at this assignment, they could click on them individually and drag them wherever they fit. Oops, I can get rid of that extra fuel now. Okay, now the last thing then is we have that video. So I'm just going to go to, what I did is I went to YouTube and I found a video about the long U sound. So I'm just going to copy the link to that YouTube video right here. Go back to slides, insert, video, and there I just paste in the link. And I search for it, and you can see it brings up that long vowel letter U. That's the video I want. So I'll click on that, select, and it inserts the video. I can just shrink it down by clicking and dragging the box in the corner. And then move it over here. And that's pretty much it. That completes the drag and drop spelling word sort activity. Hope that helps. If you have any questions, just let me know.